In today's video, we will be taking a look at the 2023 governor elections between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Let's first start off with the state of Louisiana. John Bel Edwards, the incumbent Democrat last election, won by just over 2.6 points against Eddie Raspone, the Republican challenger. However, in 2023, he would be term limited, and Democrats don't have anyone too electable to run. Sean Wilson is probably going to be, the Democratic candidate's winner. But Republicans also have a lot of candidates, and they do have someone that's pretty clearly in the front, which is Laundrie right here. However, Democrats are most certainly not going to win the state they currently hold control over. For one, Democrats are losing in pretty much every single poll that's been conducted recently. In the most recent poll, Democrats have just 28% of the support, and Republican combines for around 40-something percent. Further, there's a lot of undecided voters, and undecided voters in a Republican state, for instance, tend to vote for the Republican Party. And although I do believe that Wilson will end up narrowly overperforming Joe Biden, I do believe that Republicans will win around 58% of the vote in the runoff against Democrats at around 42%. I do believe a runoff would occur because I think Republicans are going to fall just short of 50% in the first race. Overall speaking, I definitely do not believe that Democrats will win the state of Louisiana. I think Republicans will win by around 16%, which is a safe margin. Now let's look at the state of Mississippi. Now in 2019, this race was also close. Democrats won with 51.9% of the vote. Republicans won with 51.9% against Democrats with 46.8%. Now the state of Mississippi is actually quite interesting. They actually have electoral vote count, which is basically you need a certain amount of electoral votes to win the governor's race. It's a pretty complicated system, but essentially you need the majority, and Republicans did win the majority there. Typically, whoever wins the popular vote will win the electoral vote, but not always. But regardless, in 2023, Democrats do have a presumptive nominee with Republicans to be decided. Now, we don't have many polling right now, and there is actually a poll that suggests Democrats are ahead, and currently some of the polling is actually quite close. Democrats seemingly have some type of a shot, but definitely it's not a good one because even the Democratic 2 internal polls have Republicans ahead. Further, the ratings are all likely in favor of Republican, which does make sense. Democrats really don't have much of a shot in Mississippi. Overall speaking, I do believe that Democrats will make the race pretty competitive for the state of Mississippi, but I think they will still lose around 55% to 45%, which is a likely margin. Now the state of Kentucky. This is definitely the state that's most interesting. Andy Beshear is pretty much the presumptive nominee. In fact, the primaries have already occurred, with Republicans having Daniel Cameron. Now, obviously, in the Democratic primary, Andy Beshear won with more than 90% of the votes. And Republican Daniel Cameron easily won his primary as well, so it doesn't seem like the Republican Party is too divided. Now, if we look at the polling right now, in terms of the predictions, most have it as either toss-up, lean, or tilt to the Democratic Party. So it does look pretty good for Andy Beshear. And in the polling so far, Democrats have led in 4 out of the 5 polls, with 1 poll at a tie. However, undecided voters will probably shift this election, as there's still close to 10% of them in some of the polling, which suggests that potentially Daniel Cameron will overperform the polling because, again, this is a Republican state. Nonetheless, it does seem like that Andy Beshear is a pretty popular candidate, especially because his father, actually, Steve Beshear, was very well liked in the state of Kentucky. If we look at 2011, for instance, Steve Beshear was someone who performed very well against a Republican, won by 20 points in the state of Kentucky. So it does seem like that Democrats have that type of name recognition, especially someone like Andy Beshear. Now, in 2019, it's important to note that Matt Bevin was someone who was very unpopular. For one thing, he was the most disapproved of governor in the United States, with just a 33% approval rating in his home state. So definitely Andy Beshear had that advantage. However, now he is the incumbent, so it does seem like that he probably will end up winning re-election, in my opinion. Overall speaking, I think Democrats are narrowly favored in the state of Kentucky by a tilt margin. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.